In a previous video, I touched on the issue of foreign influence in Africa. And I'm well aware that there are many people, in fact the vast majority of people, who are still lost. They have no idea what I'm talking about. In fact, many have just dismissed the whole issue, because they expect, in a situation of foreign influence, to see a lot of mzungus, zururaing all over the place. To many people, foreign influence is when the presence of foreigners in a country is noticeable. It's huge. Otherwise, there's nothing like foreign influence. What? How naive can people get? The truth is, the most dangerous foreign influence is when you can't see any foreigners around. That one is deadly. Because it means they have their well-paid agents all over the place. And these agents, out to please their foreign masters, will do a lot of damage, always. And you can be sure the agents are carefully picked out, in positions of power, mostly invisible. But sometimes they're visible heads of states of African countries. By the way, for anybody who cares to investigate the history of African leaders before colonization, you will quickly realize that African leaders had a track record, a very long track record, of carrying leadership, and in some cases, healing leaderships. Oh yes, in some communities, indeed in many communities, the leaders were also healers of the people. But on today's show, I want us to focus on a very interesting, very consistent trend, in leaders in Africa who have resisted Western influence. What is very common in all these leaders is that they try to uplift the economic situation of their people, of Africa. Shall we say that was their tragic, deadly mistake? And let us give a few solid examples up to the present time. Legendary founding father of the Congolese nation, Patrice Lumumba, alarmed the Mzungu community, mostly Belgians, when he leaned very heavily on getting economic freedom for the locals, the Congolese. And the saddest thing of all is that Congo sits on what is described as the most valuable, richest, that is rich in minerals, piece of dirt on the entire planet. How on earth could he have possibly survived? Some say he was super naive. Others say he chose to fight forces too strong. Today, it is in the public domain that the operation to get rid of Patrice Lumumba was a CIA operation. This gentleman you see on your screens right now made a country called Burkina Faso self-sufficient in food, a task which for many African countries seems impossible. By definition, he was a military dictator. He came into power using military force, a coup. But history will forever remember him as a selfless leader, who focused on the economic well-being of his people. Yeah. And because of that, foreign powers could not allow him to continue to lead. It's that simple. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was not any different. Yeah. He was a ruthless military dictator. But under his rule, Libya was a very prosperous, mostly self-sufficient nation. And unlike his Burkina Faso counterpart, Gaddafi was not naive, and he survived for decades. But the big mistake he made was to try and spread his gospel to the rest of Africa. And especially when he started getting involved in setting up an alternative currency. That was the last straw. And by the way, ask anybody who was living in Libya at the time. No mzungus zururing all over the place, very few. Yeah. No foreign influence. And now let's come to a very recent example. The late President John Pombe Magufuli of neighboring Tanzania was a brutal dictator. Yeah. He clamped down on the freedom of the press. He literally shut down opposition parties. But poor Magufuli stepped on a live electric wire when he started dealing with the economy and the economic well-being of Tanzanians. You know, I once took a road trip right across Tanzania, and I ended up in a place called Geita, which is a mineral-rich area of the country. I'd never been to the place. I was just using directions from locals and a smartphone with the GPRS, which told me precisely where I was all the time. How is it possible to sit on so much gold, so much mineral wealth, and yet have starving children? What do you think God Almighty is feeling? The one who put all that wealth there. Outsiders are getting super rich and super fat on that wealth. And it's not because of corruption in the Tanzanian government. No. All that wealth is exported. A tiny, tiny fraction lands in the country sometimes. And we are talking about the country of origin. Magufuli said, no, enough is enough. And he tried to stop that. Well, you know how he ended up. And in case you don't, it's all in my weekly intelligence briefings with evidence. And while I've been accused of many things, mostly by my haters, the truth is, this is the kind of stuff you put up anywhere in the public domain, and it gets taken down before you can say, Allah. Please wake up and smell the coffee. Yeah. Africa is not independent. Na usitafute wazungu wakizurura mtaani ndo waamini kwamba Afrika bado iko katika nyororo za ukoloni. Na ile ukoloni Afrika imeingia saa hii ni ile mbaya, afadhali ile ya kwanza. Because the naked truth is that unless God Almighty intervenes, the next president of Kenya will be handpicked, chosen, decided on by foreign powers. Now, I know a lot of what I say on this public channel may sometimes sound like Greek to some. It may sound like porojo to others. And that is why it's an excellent idea to subscribe to my weekly intelligence briefings. Kila kitu iko hapo. And in recognition of the times we are living in, very tough times, we now even have a monthly subscription. A mere $9.95. What can you buy with that? You can't even go into a nice restaurant with that kind of money. But you can get information. And information is power. And I know some of you are well aware of the fact that as the human race, we have never, ever in our long history lived at a time when information was so critically valuable. God Almighty will change Africa forever. God Almighty will intervene in the African situation. Of that, I am very, very, very sure. It was prophesied, it was predicted ages ago. It will happen without fail. God bless Africa. God remember Africa, because it is Africa's time. Please take a little of your time to take in the following brief recording I had done earlier, telling you a little more about my weekly intelligence briefings. It's important for you, and it's also important for the work I do here. Thanks so much in advance for your support. While I try my very best to give you real value on this public channel and to give you all the valuable information I can, the truth is there's some information that is way too sensitive to share on this public channel. That information usually ends up in my weekly intelligence briefings, which is usually moto kama pasi. Just to give you a few examples, what really happened to former President of Tanzania, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli? Is it true that he passed on at a Nairobi hospital? Actually, the Magufuli inside story is nothing short of mind-boggling. Most people who have taken in my WIB number 52, which contains this information, have been left breathless. Even the most hardened cynics have been left bila words, if I can put it in the Kenyan way. Another example of a WIB that I published recently. There is a secret that those who are close to Raila Odinga have guarded and continue to guard with everything they have. Why is this particular secret so sensitive? And what is it anyway? It is contained in one of my WIBs. In fact, a recent one. And there's much more, including things you'd never imagine that are happening in the corridors of power that neatly explain what we see unfolding in the public domain. Bottom line, you will never look at Kenyan politics in the same way again after you become a WIB subscriber. Indeed, it is true to say that in most instances, the truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes much more difficult to believe than fiction. But it remains the naked truth. And now you have a golden opportunity of becoming a weekly intelligence briefing subscriber on a monthly basis, which will automatically give you access to every single WIB ever produced. Oh yes, I will send you all the WIBs immediately you become a subscriber. And to become a monthly subscriber, all you need is $9.95 only, or Kenya shillings 995 only. Simply send a blank email to the email address you see on your screens right now, and you'll get an automated response by email instantly, within seconds, with full payment instructions and what you need to do. The same full payment instructions are also included in the description area below this video on YouTube. I strongly recommend that you go for it, because this offer will not last for much longer. I really look forward to seeing you on the other side as a WIB subscriber. Thanks so much for your support. It means a lot to me. And I'm saying that very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to seeing you on the other side as a WIB subscriber. Until next time, this is Kshs. Kumekucha.